Hi again then guys, and so we've got another Special Projects replica style build for you today, and this time it's for a vehicle which is pretty popular on any racing game that it's featured on. So far however it has perhaps surprisingly not been featured on Gran Turismo, and that is the Lotus Exige, the newer shape Exige, the 2012 model with the enlarged engine. It's significantly heavier than the Exige which it replaced, but also more powerful and has much more of an exotic image to it rather than being just a stripped out, essentially more hardcore version of the Elise. It's kind of morphed into more of its own thing. Now surprisingly, you can actually make the newer shape Elise on the game very similar to that Exige in terms of spec. Obviously it doesn't look exactly the same, but it's not as far off in terms of performance and spec as you may expect. So first of all, I'll show you what I've done to get the visual look of the car. Then of course we'll go over to the tuning garage for the mechanical setup, and finally out to the track to see what it can do. So for the visual look of this particular model, as I said, you can get it surprisingly close to the newer shape Exige considering just how different the cars are mechanically. I've gone for the Type B body kit, which is of course completely different to the other two. It gives you this completely reworked front end and side skirts, and also smooths off the back end, which really looks good on this car. I have fitted the flat floor primarily for the look but also for the PP. As far as the rear wing, I've gone for the special manufacturer wing and the Type B wing in particular, and of course for other I've fitted the hard top, which obviously is colour coded to the body. For the rims, we've gone for inch up 1, and the particular rims that I've gone for are these Oz Racing rims, the Ultra Allegra rims, and they are in kind of a matte black anyway. And I've left the additional meters standard. Obviously you have to choose that for yourself, and as far as the colour, you can pretty much choose whatever colour you want because it's not a racing replica, it's just a replica of a road car, and it comes in a variety of colours. So let's now go over to the tuning garage for the mechanical setup. Now, as far as the mechanical setup on this particular model, obviously it's a more street-based tune, so I've gone for sport soft tyres rather than racing. For the ride height, I've reduced the ride height, that should be on 110, front and rear. Springs to 5 and 850, dampers and anti-roll to 4, camber on 2 with neutral toe. For the gearbox, we've got an auto setting of 186, then we've rounded off the individual gears to 2875, 1950, 1425, 1100, 885 and 750 with a final drive of 4.2. For the diff, we've got the lowest initial torque, highest acceleration and lowest braking sensitivity. As far as power, this one does, if I remember correctly, have an oil change. You want all of the power upgrades, and then we've reduced the power down to 96.5%. And as far as downforce, you want the downforce set of course as high as possible. We don't have any of the weight loss package, and we've increased the car's weight by 200 kilos to bring up to pretty much the same weight, or very close to the weight of the 2012 Exige, and we've put that all the way to the front to bring it closer to a 50-50 weight split. So the specs are, as I said, surprisingly close to the Exige, despite having a much larger engine and a newer spec. So let's finally go out to the track to see what it's capable of. Now, the performance of this car, especially the handling physics, of course are never going to be exactly what they would be if this were the 2012 Exige. It's just not possible. It's a completely different car in terms of size and mechanicals. However, this does feel like a really good representation of an Exige, more so of the same generation as this Elise really, rather than as the newer model which we're trying to replicate. But it's about as close as we can get at the moment on the game. Visually it's surprisingly close thanks to the pretty impressive amount of custom bodywork options that you can fit to it. The specs are almost spot on to the real thing, and overall the performance is what you'd expect from an Exige. The handling is very good, it's very fast, especially for acceleration, and it makes a really fun track car. So if you decide to use this tune, obviously I hope you find it fun and potentially competitive if you use it for racing. And if you found this enjoyable and would like to see more replicas or tuning in general as soon as it comes out, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching.